Dear residents, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. We will need to shut off water to the whole community on Monday from June 27th between 8 and 5. We will hope the water will not be shut off all day, but we will be dependent on the water district to turn off the water from the main. The whole community. Is this the look of things to come with the water here in Nevada, Las Vegas? Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joey. You're watching Vegas D-Tech, and we're doing another neighborhood walk and talk. It's really crazy because yesterday I made a video, and it was just an impromptu video that I decided to do, just walking around the neighborhood talking about the water situation at Lake Mead, and that video went viral. It was like 16,000 views in 10 hours, man. So obviously the topic here is something of concern that people want to hear about. So I got a bunch of questions and answers from a lot of the comments that were left, and I just felt that I would do another neighborhood walk and talk, and we would have some discussions here, and I'll try to answer these as much as possible. So some of these people are asking me, Joey, what are these straws you guys are talking about, the straws in the lake? Well, there's 3 straws in the lake right now that are sucking water out of the lake. Okay, the first straw that they put in there to provide water was in 1971. Then that straw was a second straw was put in 2000, because they anticipated the water drop was going to happen with the growth of Las Vegas. Okay, and that should have been the end all be all, but then we started having this severe drought situation here, so then they decided to plan this drought getting even worse, and they put in a third straw. Right now, a lot of people are like, hey man, that's great and all, but that can't be the solution, you know, for dropping water levels, is just stick a straw deeper into the lake. And I agree, that is not the solution. We should be working with all the water authorities from all the dams, all the lakes above Las Vegas, to try to figure out ways to maintain water levels in the lake, so that the future of all of these cities and all of the towns along the Colorado can continue to thrive. But no, looks like Las Vegas, all they care about is just ensuring that the people here in Vegas can keep these homes filled with water for as long as possible, so they just stick a straw deeper into the lake. Very funny. So anyways, what do we have here? What lakes are above Lake Mead? You've got what? You got the Rocky Mountains, Flaming Gorge, Lake Powell, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave, and Lake Havasu. Right now, this whole mentality of we have enough water, a lot of realtors will tell me that we got plenty of water, bro. Look at our third straw. Our third straw is going to guarantee that we will be able to keep water in these homes. I'm like, yeah, okay, but if every single community and every single dam or lake had the same self-preservation mentality of, we don't care about the guys down the road, we only care about us. So like, hey, forget about all the people down below Hoover Dam. So forget about Arizona, forget about California, Southern California. As long as Las Vegas gets to have their water, that's all that matters, right? What if all the other lakes above Lake Mead felt the same way? And they were like, you know what? Instead of a dam being used to regulate water in times of, you know, increasing water flow to prevent floods, and in times of drought to keep the lakes and to keep the water in the Colorado flowing consistently, what if everybody had that same mentality? Hey man, we're all hitting Deadpool, so guess what? The dams are no longer going to be dams, they're going to be vaults. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to have nice beautiful ponds, or at least they want to take all this stuff out, you know. No more ponds, no more flowing water. Everybody has this preservation attitude. So what if everybody wants to lock up their dams? Well, if Las Vegas and Hoover Dam can't outflow any water to the towns below us, what about if Powell said that? What about if Lake Powell said that, well, you know, we're Deadpool, we're not going to allow any more water to flow out either, so there's no more inflow coming into Lake Mead, which means you only have the puddle of water that you currently have in your lake, and when that runs dry and you suck it out with your third straw, every last drop, you haven't been planning for the future of how to sustain the water level. All you've thought about is how you're going to pull every last drop out to keep supplying these homes with plenty of water. Now, what's really funny is I would say a good 80% of every single house in the neighborhood has a swimming pool in it, right? What's going to be funny is that these swimming pools will turn into your water aqueduct. No, it's not made for leisure and recreation purposes only anymore. Now these swimming pools will be your water storage when it gets down to that point, which means you don't fill your water up with the hose anymore. Once a month the water truck will come by and you will buy your allocation of water. It'll fill up your pool, and then you pump the water out of your pool, and that's what you'll use in your house. I know it sounds funny, man. It sounds like, you know, fear mongering and stuff, but you know what? People just don't realize until it's too late. I really think that we need to figure out what's most important. I know everybody's pissed off about these gas prices, man, and they are high. And I hate them as much as anybody else. But when it comes down to water, man, I mean, food, you know, depending on what shape you're in, you could probably go a good week or more without eating. But when it comes down to water, you probably can go 3 days max without water and you are done. That's how important water is, man. And I don't think people are being serious about water until they turn on that tap and all they hear is air hissing out of it. Then things get real. Or when you flush the toilet and the doo-doo don't go away, it just stays there. Oh, that's when it's going to get real. And I tell you what, guys, my wife and I, we work in the service industry. My wife works at the South Point Casino. She works at the Sportsbook. I'm in the service industry, hospitality. I'm a food server and a bartender, okay? Now let me tell you something. When I'm serving people drinks, and I'm talking about influential people with influence, it's really amazing what these people will tell you the more inebriated they get. That's right. You give them more alcohol, they become loose. They can't hold the pressure anymore. I'm not gonna lie anymore. I'm gonna let everybody know the truth. And the truth of the matter is, there are issues here that need to be dealt with, man. And you know, you hear more things. People get loose when they start to drink, and you get to hear more of the stuff that needs to be heard, not what these politicians are telling you. You know, so anyways, when we take a look at the lake levels, the highest that the lake has ever been was 1,226 feet. That was in '83, okay? I've lived in Vegas practically all my life, okay? And that was when the water was so much, it was spilling over the spillways. We're now at 1,044. So that's a difference of 182 feet. Now, to put that into perspective, man, people don't know what 182 feet looks like. Think of a 15-story house. This is a 2-story. That's just 2 stories. That's a lot of water loss. If you were to lose that amount of water, that's a lot of water loss right there. But let's just say, let's stack that 15 high. That's the amount of water loss that we actually lost, okay? Or here, let's put it into another perspective. Let's take a football field, widthwise, not lengthwise, but widthwise, from bleacher to bleacher. That is about 180 feet. So to put that into perspective, that shows you just how much water was actually lost, okay? Now, the whole self-preservation attitude. I watched this one video the other day of there's another channel here in Vegas that went out to the lake and it saw, was it Sin City Outdoors? That's who it was. They went out to the lake and they're finding all these boats that have sunk, right? They were capsized and sunk to the bottom of the lake. And you've seen them, they're all popping out right now. And you can literally see the levels. If you use the boats are sticking out of the water like totem poles. So you can literally see the amount of water loss on a day by day, on a week by week basis. Well, anyways, they were out there one day and there was a dude waving to them. He was stranded on a sandbar with a water home, right? What do you call them? A houseboat. So this old man has been living retired out on Lake Mead. His houseboat broke down, and he's stranded on a sandbar. I guess his motor went out, so he was able to beach it up on a shoreline. And he had called for a mechanic to come and help him. And he said that it had been about 2 weeks. It took about 2 weeks for an actual mechanic to come out and help him with his boat. In that 2 weeks that he waited for the mechanic, because think about it, a mechanic has to drive out to the lake. He has to load a boat up with all of his tools and actually cruise out across the lake to get to where this guy is at, who's stranded on a shore somewhere. 2 weeks. By the time the guys at Sin City Outdoors were able to get to the guy's boat literally was 4 feet out of the water. Now his houseboat is a trailer, and he literally laughed and said, "This is where I'm living now, on my trailer." Bro, 2 weeks. He said that his boat went from being on the shoreline in 2 weeks to popping out of the water, and now it's dry docked. That is absolutely crazy, guys. If you don't have, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist for people to let you know that there is a serious problem going on with the water. And what people don't really understand is how the whole water situation works, right? A lake initially is like a V, right? When you have a V, the water at the top of the V is going to be large displacement of water. As the water level drops within the V, you have less water inside, okay? So it's going to take, you're going to multiply the factor of water loss by a number of 3, right? So when you lose water to that level at a factor of 3, what's happening is that it's going to take 3 times less for you to lose that water from the top than it is to the middle. So it'll deplete itself that much faster. So these water experts and water authority planners, geological survey teams, they say that we have enough water to last blah 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 blah. And now with the third straw, oh yeah, we're gonna be able to provide homes with water till blah 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 blah. And dude, you know what, I tell you what, the problem with capitalism sometimes, the problem with capitalism is profitability and not sustainability. The city of Boulder City, Nevada, I love Boulder City, Nevada, because they did not allow any more development to happen in that neighborhood. It looks the same now as it did when I first moved out here. Very little development, because they wanted to keep the neighborhood, you know, not overdeveloped. Now think about it, man. If they would just allow, if they were greedy for money, all the Raiders football team would just have bought up everything out there. Millions, what's a million? A million's pocket change. You know what I mean? Hell, the pipeline that they built to bring the third straw in from the lake cost $800 million. And they're acting like they spent a lot of money. Dude, LeBron James has $800 million in his bank account. You know what I mean? That's to think. But anyways, getting back to overdevelopment, the water usage here, they're like saying that the majority of the water usage in this town is not from brushing your teeth or flushing your toilet. All that water supposedly is reclaimed. I'm like, yeah, but the development, when you develop these new tracts of homes, the trucks, we have these ordinances that don't allow dust. When they're plowing the grounds to level the surface area, all this dust gets kicked up and it flies all in the neighborhoods and people hate it. So they're required to water the dirt with water trucks. And those water trucks chew through thousands and thousands of gallons of water, and they're literally spraying all day long. So development, guys, you got to think about that. The developers, they don't constitute, how much water do they constitute that they use up when they're actually developing neighborhoods? At some point, you got to say enough with the migration. Guys, look, I'm all into immigration. Hell, I'm an immigrant, right? I mean, my dad was US Air Force. We went from base to base to base. I've lived damn near everywhere. Everybody came from somewhere. Everybody deserves the right to provide better for their family and to do better. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, as the politician or the government of your city, do you have the infrastructure and the resources to sustain overpopulation and growth in your area? And I don't think Las Vegas cares. Many cities don't care. But it's the overdevelopment that is taxing the water resources. What's going to happen, guys? Hey, look, I'm not here to give fear-mongering. I'm just laying out potential scenarios. You don't have to, you know, God gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a big old brain. And if you're using this brain for more than a hat rack, you can clearly see when things are not looking right. Last time I checked, 1 minus 1 equals 0. You can't just keep taking out and not getting anything back. You don't have to be a college graduate in order to understand simple logic. But guys, in closing out, there's an adage that I wanted to recite. And I remember back in science class, they say that you can take a frog and put a frog in a pot of water and slowly turn the heat up on him. He will boil to death and not even know that he's dying. And if you apply that to the logic of cities, especially with Las Vegas, I don't really know. You've seen our mayor, man. Goodman. I don't know about this woman, man. I really don't, dude. What a clown. That's all I got to say about that. But we won't go any further. I don't want this channel to be about politicians and political debates. It's about water right now, guys, and the allocation, how long we've got left. I don't know. You guys, you know what? Share your thoughts, man. Give me your comment down below. What do you think about all this, man? Has everybody been misallocating water for so long? Are we overdeveloping? Do we care? Is this planned? Many people think that it's planned. If it is or if it's not, I don't know. I'm just one man trying to report from my neighborhood. So anyways, man, thanks for coming along with me for another walk and talk. This is Joey. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. You guys be well. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye now.